Hello, welcome to Homeschool-Life. My name is Bobby, and we're going to be looking at the Family Accounting tool. In order to do this, if you'd like to follow along, please log into your website. From your home page, you may have two different ways that you can access the accounting tool. The first way is located within a login box if your group chooses to display this login box on your home page. Within that box, there is a link right here to your statement of account. If you don't have that login box, you can access your family accounting by clicking on this icon at the very top of your screen. When you enter your family statement of account, you'll see here a listing of all of the unpaid invoices on your account. You'll also see at the bottom a list of accounting categories. These categories display the prefixes that are used on each of your invoices. For example, the SU is a sign up. These invoices right here, as well as this one up here, are sign up events. This is just there for your reference should you need it. You'll also notice here that this particular group has their accounting separated into different accounts within. For example, this group of invoices right here are in their general account. This group of invoices right here are in what they call their cash only account. This group only has two different accounts set up. Some groups may have several, particularly co-ops. In the case of co-ops, many times they may have accounts set up for each of their teachers. So this is unique to each group. From this statement of account, you can pay invoices if there is a link to PayPal or paperless. This is established by your group administrator or your treasurer. In this case, this group has the general account, and all of the invoices in their general account are linked to PayPal. So they would have the option to make a payment on any or all of these invoices. These invoices down here at the bottom are just displayed for your reference, but you could not actually make a payment on these. There would have been a different method established for these to be paid, either by check, maybe sent through the mail, or perhaps this might even be an event where you might pay at the door. So returning up here to those that we can pay through PayPal, you have an option here of paying any or all of these invoices. To pay them all, you would click on this box here and notice the amount under Pay Now changes to $125, which is the total amount due. I can remove it by clicking on the Pay All again. I do want to spend just a moment talking about this group of invoices right here in the CR, which is for class registration. And this is a partial payment accounting category. Not every group has partial payment accounting categories. This is set up by your treasurer or your website administrator. For groups that allow partial payments, you'll notice that there is a box here where you can actually key in an amount that you wish to pay. This can be any amount. It doesn't have to be the full $85. That's why it's called partial payment. However, one thing to note on these partial payment categories is that when you make a payment to a partial payment category, it does not apply to a specific invoice. Notice that there are no specific invoices listed in the CR category. There's only listed the total balance. So when you make a payment of whatever amount you choose, that payment applies to the total of all the invoices in that category. In contrast, these two invoices here, which have the checkbox next to them, these are in full payment accounting categories, and they must be paid in full when you make the payment. You cannot make a partial payment toward these invoices. So if we're ready to make our payment, let's say that we want to pay $10 here on this family picnic invoice, and maybe we just want to make a partial payment of $20 on this total balance due for all of the class registration invoices. You'll notice when I keyed in the $20 and when I checked the $10 box here that the PayPal link lights up, turns orange, because that indicates that I can actually make a payment of $30. There we go, $30. And when I click on this PayPal link, It's going to take me to an interim Homeschool-Life screen, and then from there, it's going to connect me directly to PayPal, where I can execute my payment. So I'm going to click on that box now, and we will be linked to PayPal. Once the link with PayPal is established, you have two options. You can either log into your own PayPal account, if you have one, by filling in, of course, your login ID and password, and clicking on the login, or if you don't have a PayPal account or you choose not to use it, you can just click on Pay with Debit or Credit Card. When you click on the Pay with Debit or Credit Card, you'll be taken to this checkout as a guest. You would then key in all of the appropriate information, your credit card number, expiration date, name, etc. When you're ready to actually make the payment, you would click on Pay Now. The payment would be executed, and then you would have an icon created that you could return to the merchant. I'm not actually going to execute this payment, but that would be the steps if you do make a payment through PayPal. Here we are back on the family statement of account. There is one more thing I'd like to show you, and that is the invoice and payment details. You can access them by clicking here. Once you toggle to the invoice and payment detail listing, this is the screen you'll be on. You'll notice that it's separated into three distinct areas. The first area is the invoice summary, and of course this lists all of the invoices that have been created on your account. The second area is called the adjustment detail, and this is a listing of adjustments that have been made, and that might include credits. And the third area is the payment detail, and this area here includes all of the payments that have been made toward the invoices on your account. You'll also notice that section for accounting categories that we looked at with the statement of account. This again just shows you what those prefixes mean that you'll find in front of your payment, your adjustment, and your invoices. If you look at the paid status on the invoices, you'll notice three different possibilities here. You might have invoices with a paid status of no, and obviously that means that the invoice is not paid and is remaining open for payment. You'll see invoices with a paid status of yes, and of course that means that you have made a payment toward that invoice. And you'll notice there's a paid status of ADJ, and what that means is that the invoice is closed for payment, but it wasn't closed because of a payment actually, it was closed because of an adjustment on the account. In this case, this was a field trip, and because the person was a teacher, she received a complimentary admission. So she was given a credit, and that credit shows here, which corresponds to this particular invoice. So this invoice is marked ADJ. Now you may be noticing these invoices right here that have an NA in the paid status. Those are called partial payment invoices. We talked a little bit about that on the statement of account, but those are invoices where the payments do not apply to the specific invoices. The payments instead apply to the overall balance of all the invoices in that accounting category. In this case, it's the CR, class registration. So that's why you might see NA on some of those paid statuses. Something you may want to do once you come into the invoice and payment detail listing is you might want to filter the records. For example, you might want to find records from the previous school year. Maybe you want to go back and look and find out a payment you made for your last year's registration. If you come up to this fiscal year and click down on this drop-down menu, click on Prior, and then Update, you'll be able to see a listing of all of the invoices from the previous school year. In this case, the only one there is a membership renewal invoice from June of 2019. Here you can see the invoice, and then you can also see the associated payment that was received for that. If you were looking for a specific payment, this would have given you the PayPal ID number, and you could have gone back and cross-referenced that with the payment that you actually made. I'm going to go back and set my filters back to the current year. And then one other thing you can do with filters that can be helpful is, let's say that you have a lot of invoices and payments on your account, and you're looking for invoices or maybe a specific invoice from an event sign up. So you can come up to this filtering option here, and you can filter perhaps just by the signups, which is the SU category. If you apply the filter, the system will now sort all of your invoices and payments and adjustments and only display those to you that are in the SU category. So that can be very helpful if you're looking for something specific. You can also remove your filters by clicking on this icon here, and it returns you back to the previous listing. And the last thing you might want to do from the invoice and payment details is print a copy of the whole thing. You can do that by clicking on the printer icon. And then, of course, your print menu is going to come up. You would then, of course, click on the print icon, and you would be able to print all of those invoices and payments, as well as adjustments that are on your account. That sums up the invoice and payment details. If you'd like to return to your statement of account, you can click here, and that returns you back to your statement of account, where, of course, you could make payments if you wanted to. That concludes this video of the Family Accounting Tool. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please contact your website administrator or your treasurer.